forward. When you're bustling through the city, at work, or sweating it out. And just when you think you're doing things in style, the right moment can easily take the wrong turn. New GT Cosmetics Deodorant guarantees the freshness and confidence that you need to make it through the day, so that you're ready to make every moment.
Hi, I'm Chris. I am a principal engineer at Lexmark. My primary work is to deliver the best motherboard design for our world-class printers. I like working for Lexmark because it provides me the opportunity to design real high-end projects, and that is a rare opportunity in the Philippines. Aside from that opportunity, Lexmark is also a good place to grow. You are surrounded by great engineers who are world-class in talent and at the same time willing to help you grow in your career.
The smile of a total stranger, the voice of a loved one, the taste of something sweet, the warmth of an embrace. Simple moments remind us of what matters most. These moments make us believe there are better things ahead. These moments fuel us to carry on and keep moving forward. Sometimes when it feels like there's nowhere else to go, like nothing is going your way, when all seems hopeless, have the courage to move forward. Explore, discover, live. Sometimes, it's the little things that keep us moving forward.
Imagine having technology that lets you grow your business right at your fingertips, where a single click can give you full access to your business and to the world. No need to imagine further. At Eastern Communications, we take care of your IT needs while you focus on what matters most to your business. Our business products and services are specifically designed to guarantee your business success in lesser time. Experience seamless business-to-business data exchange throughout the country and the world with our reliable data services. Our domestic data services ensure you with a stable delivery of private data across internal organizations and remote branches. If you're expanding business horizons, our international data services are perfect in securing private exchange of data between domestic and international sites. Whatever your internet needs, our customized packages got you covered for a smooth running operation and easier access to various applications. With our dedicated internet services, varying bandwidth needs and network delays will never be a problem anymore. because we provide businesses with the best routes to ensure high-speed connectivity. If you are performing basic business operations, our shared internet services provide the stable and consistent connectivity that you need. Transform the way your business communicates, whether through our traditional voice services or modern voice solutions. When you upgrade your voice operations to IP-based telephony, you can instantly accelerate transactions and manage calls cost-effectively. But if you're looking for something simple and practical, nothing can go wrong with traditional telephony, which can handle up to 30 voice channels simultaneously. Plus, you get better voice quality and clearer reception. You can bring out the best in any plan when you avail our exclusive managed services that provide personalized assistance to your specific IT needs. Through our software-defined wide area network service, you can keep multiple branches connected to real-time information all at the same time. Want to improve internal operations without spending much? No worries. Our affordable value-added services ensure that you get additional boost on top of your plan. Give your business the much-needed protection it needs by keeping critical information in a highly secure data center facility operated by professional engineers 24/7. Our cloud service gets you ahead in business by equipping you with the proper tools towards the digital transformation of your business. Greater connection equals greater security risks? Not when you subscribe to our game-changing Eastern Cyber Defense Services. We protect the data of your business and customers 24/7, so you can have greater peace of mind at every step of the way. With our website protection service, cyber threats are automatically detected and blocked in real time. Building customers' trust is a must. So we also ensure there's high security in the personal information and transaction of your customers. Let us do all the work so you can just focus on growing your business even more. So next time you come across problems with your connection, partner with Eastern. Because our language is solutions. Talk to us today. All it takes is that one connection, our strong connection. Eastern Communications.
Let us all bow our heads and pray, believing in our God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. In Matthew 6, verse 26 to 27, the Lord said, "Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? Our Father, we thank you first and foremost for sending us your Son, Jesus Christ, to save us. Make every one of us truly believe in you, that we may genuinely accept you in our lives as our Lord and our Savior. We also thank you for providing us the technology that we are able to gather together today to discuss how the entrepreneurs will be able to overcome the difficulties in doing business caused by the ongoing pandemic. We pray that you will guide us throughout this activity and that you will be in our midst. We pray for the speakers that they will share clearly to us their wisdom and expertise so that all businesses will be able to adjust and survive. Lord, we believe that nothing is impossible with you. We'll lift up to you all concerns that we have. In your mercy, comfort those who are weary, give peace to those who are troubled, provide those who are in need. Let everything that we do and say be always for your glory and praise. This we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, telos ng sigatanan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, kuya ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagatak tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong pagaw, ay hinatang tulad, awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nagtitindig, ang ituwing at araw niya kailan pamay di magtitindig. Luman ang araw ng warhagin pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya ng pagkay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Live? Hi, good afternoon. Maayong hapon, Cebu. Maayong hapon, Pilipinas. Welcome to our very first virtual coffee table discussion. Actually, it's not virtual for the three of us. And this is in partnership with PLDT ENTERPRISE, by the way. And there's actually a good reason why the three of us are here together and opting not to go virtual, to go full virtual with the five of us. So, a very engaging discussion is going to be, to formally introduce our speakers or panelists or ang mga kakapihan nako today is first is Mr. Mitch Luxin of first Vice President of PLDT Enterprise. Next is June Saa, IT consultant, IT BPM consultant. He just retired from Cebu. And then Mike Cubos, CEO of Performance 360 and also overall chair of CBM 2020. And then on my left is another CEO of Atox Solutions, and yours truly, Jocelyn Canon, Community Relations Director of Qualphone Philippines. So basically, ang topic na mo sa discussion today is about the challenges and opportunities of a thriving industry. So while everyone else, especially during the height of the ECQ around March month, around March, and almost everybody was closing, ang IT BPM industry kay naning kamot gihapon og thrive. So would you mind telling us how was your experience? Kinsa may maguna. And this is the beauty of this setup ha kay kanang free flowing.
Siguro Sir Mike.
Sir Mike.
Sige.
Sir Mike, chairman man.
Well, for initially, so there was a lot of uncertainty because we don't know what's gonna happen. Are we still gonna operate? Are our employees still allowed to go to work? What about our clients? Are they gonna pull out or are they gonna continue working with us? If they want to continue, are they gonna pay? So those are the things that are really the things in my mind. I've been really exploring every hour, every minute of the day. Like, what's gonna happen? So it's like every day is a new setup. We don't know if there's a new policy that will come out that will prevent us from our employees to go to work, or if there's maybe what about the threat of the virus? What's like how it's gonna pan out? Nakabalo if our employees gonna get infected or what. So it was really chaos on the first few weeks. So muna siya then
Challenges. How about you?
I think it's the same. A lot of the things that we all experienced were the same. Some of the things medyo challenging when we started, just like Qualphone, was the access to equipment, because we were all scrambling to let all of our staff go and work from home. So everybody was buying all of the laptops, all of the headsets. So there was a time that Jocelyn would call me in the middle of the night asking if I knew someone who can provide 3,000 headsets. I was like, okay, we'll try. But so that was the challenge at first. And then after that came, the challenges of connectivity and communications. Thankfully, we are... with PLDT and Eastern, I think we pretty much nailed that part. They provided us good support. So Sir Mitch, I'm commending your team for at least allowing us to apply for our staff. So we applied internet connection under our company name to be installed in the homes of our employees, which is very helpful, and the turnaround time was really good. Now, I think the challenge is how do we predict the future, because this crisis not only affects us, but it also affects everyone in the world. So medyo kanang uncertain gapon, but luckily as what this topic is, the IT industry is still thriving. So we hope that with everyone's commitment to keep this going. We need the support of everyone, government, all of the key players. We need to do our best, to do our part to be able to keep this going.
Right, right. And then on Qualphone's and at the same time, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my colleagues and also Cebu Chambers kay during that time when we were scrambling for ang equipments niya, we were sending people to work from home, lisod lisod, and with all the regulations no nga, um, I don't want to go into the details sa mga challenges sa mga regulations, but basically katong sa mga availability of equipments, tinuod ang giingon ni Gerard kaganina nga manawag ko nila at the middle of the night, and they were kind enough to entertain my calls, including June Saa, who's also very helpful, especially in terms of coordination sa mga local authorities. And so I guess and also another part of our operation is we have another site in Dumaguete. So ang iyahang availability sa iyahang mga equipments, at least kung na-imagine kung naglisod ang Cebu at that time, imagine how kung unsa ang kalisod dito sa amo ang site sa Dumaguete. Yeah. So there were even, I think I can remember twice or thrice, 3 times nga ako gani mo ay mangunay og kanang maguna sa convoy just to make sure nga maabot gyud didto ang amo ang mga equipments which are very crucial to our operations. So, and si mangutana na ni Sir Mitch, how was PLDT's experience? Did you have a challenge or everything was all rainbow for you?
Well, it was also a challenge for us, of course, in PLDT. No, when the ECQ started in Metro Manila, we had to do certain lockdown of people. In a sense, we had to house people in the PLDT offices that needed to do the necessary work and maintain the network that it would still go live, and nobody could go in and out. So we had to prepare for that. And then the first 2 weeks was definitely a challenge because, as you know, PLDT does the public, it's branded as public service. Hence, most of our people, especially in the field, we had to make sure that we had the necessary PPEs, diba? Everybody was scrambling for PPEs back then, from the basic mask to everything, from gloves to alcohol and all of that. And after which, when we got all of those PPEs in place, we properly went back on the field to actually do the service. No, and the challenges as well, especially for the BPO and IT side of things, it started that everybody was scrambling. And imagine if there is 1.3 million full-time agents in the BPO and IT space in the Philippines. Imagine supporting that 1.3 million, or let's just say 70 or 60% of that, and transform those needs to a work from home type of setup. We even had people that were, because some logistics companies were closed, and initially most of the BPOs were ordering our smart LTE SOHO routers, as we call it, diba? That we needed to rush and deliver. And because some of the logistics companies that we partnered with were still on the adjustment phase, we had to ask people. We even had some vice presidents that were delivering devices to BPOs just so that we could provide these agents the flexibility to have those LTE routers in their homes so that they could start work. And true enough, it has evolved over the last, from ECQ to GCQ to MECQ. It's evolved a lot of times, and I know Cebu, by the way, I know it's going through its own struggles as well, and so now most of the BPOs are asking us now to provision or to install basically fiber to the agents' homes, fiber or copper, but they prefer basically fixed services. So the challenges keeps coming up, and more than just really providing the service. I mean, MVP mentioned when this whole crisis started that we should look at first in supporting the Filipinos and the enterprises in the Philippines more than just revenue. So we had to go the extra mile, and And with that, the first priority really is our people. So the people that will deliver the service, needed to make sure that they are protected and healthy and safe. So that was the first set of challenges that we experienced.
Thank you for that, sir. By the way, do you have your coffee with you?
I don't have coffee, but I have my mug with me.
Before we proceed, to June, no, just to be very clear, we are in Oak Ridge Business Lounge, and while we are not wearing our masks, we are practicing social distancing. We have the saan tawag gani? Acrylic barriers, and again, as I was saying earlier, there's a very good reason why we decided, the three of us, at the last minute to be here together, because, well, business has to go on. Business has to go on. COVID is with us, and we have to accept that, but we need to move on with our lives with the safety protocols, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, aside from that, we also have free flowing coffee together with free flowing discussions.
coffee. So, okay. So, Sir June.
Sir June.
Yeah, of course, this COVID pandemic has really brought a lot of things to the industry. And one thing that we should thank for is that to thank IATF that the IT BPM industry was considered as one of the industries that was allowed to continue working despite the pandemic. Because it really helped a lot, maybe at least 50% of the people in the industry continued working, and a lot of them enjoyed working at home, work from home. So of course there were challenges as well. But one thing that we should also thank this pandemic is that it has really catalyzed the embrace of technology. I had my first online meeting just 2 weeks before this pandemic, or the ECQ for Cebu. No? And from then on, we see a lot of webinars left and right. And of course, the work from home, online shopping, whatever you have there. Even our education system has already adopted technology. So they're now doing some online courses or online education, even our public schools as well. So it's really a big challenge, but somehow we're coping up and we're slowly adjusting to the new norms that this COVID pandemic has brought to all parts of the society.
Yeah. Well, largely, from us, Sir Jun, so we really thank you for all the support. Kay, during the katong gubot pa on the initial first week, like everyone was scrambling who to go to for help. Kinsa man atong masangpit ani. Si Jun, tawagan natin si Jun. Mm-hmm. So we really thank you sa Koan, especially for representing the ITBPM.
Yes.
Atong Koan, and then you basically kaning imong naghatag ka o Koan ba?
Yang consolidate.
So you got help from the IATF, from katong Koan po sa MEPS ganyan sa kaning
PEZA.
So we really are thankful. Then when I received an email, Sir Jun, I make the Sir Jun. So but so we're really thankful for all the support that you've given the industry. So di na malalis. We have President Felix there on our call. Maybe pwede na to mapastorya po si President Felix. Yes. President Felix.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Do you have your coffee, sir?
Okay, kape diha. Do you have your coffee?
It's here. The coffee is here. Okay. Thank you, everybody. No, especially Albert. Thank you very much, Albert. No, without PLDT support to the CBM, this would have not been a fruitful one. Then with the help of Jun Saa also during the time when it started, you know, as we may all know, and what the CCCI will always say, the economy of Cebu is dependent on tourism and the ICT. Now, for without ICT, we lost the tourism industry, but it's going to be revived. We are reviving it, and soon with the travel bubble that the tourism sector has been, what you call that, advertising. We hope that we will be out of these woods in the future, in the months to come. But during the March pandemic until now, it is this sector that is still the main driver of the economy of Cebu. So so without all of us here, the mainstay, the suppliers, the infrastructure suppliers, the hardware suppliers, and most especially the ICT members, the call center operator, BPO, KPO, and everybody in the industry, and in behalf of the Cebu Chamber of Commerce, as what I just chatted with Chairman Mike, and I said, this is something unique. This is a first of everything. And it is under the chairmanship of Chairman Mike. We had a lot of firsts. First virtual meeting, entrepreneur, tourism, now ICT, then soon the creative on the 23rd and 24th, 2 days. So in behalf of Cebu Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I thank you all. Let's have a great afternoon, a great experience, and we hope we can have more of this. I think for without the vaccine coming out in the next few months, we cannot do much of the face-to-face thing. So this is the nearest to reality, and who knows, with the soon more of the technology 5G coming up, we may PLDT may have what you say, the what hologram ba Mitch, was that right?
Hologram.
Hologram. Someone from China showed me a video and say, oh Felix, you should buy this one, so next time you don't need to come to China anymore, just put it in the office and we can talk. You right? So, oh really? When I saw the video, I thought I was there. They go, oh, you're really close to me. So technology will always change, and PLDT will always be ahead of everybody. So thank you very much, and let's have a great afternoon. Jocelyn, thank you everybody. Mike, Chairman Mike, kaning atong Vice Chair also, yung values, So thank you very much, please proceed. I will learn from all of you. It's time that kamo mga, of course, younger man muna ako, pero I am learning from you now, because wala ni sa atong panahon, but sige lang, muapas pa ko. Muapas ko.
The young ones, the ones young.
The ones young.
Dagang salamat, President Felix.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Sige, go ahead. Proceed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So, ka-remember lang ko ba, I'd like to take this opportunity as well, because when we mention challenges, daghan kayo, and we only mention of equipments. I just remembered nga hotels, ang pagpangita og hotels, because they were also closing down, right? And then haggling for the best prices, and I'd like to take this opportunity to also thank partners, friends, and colleagues who welcomed us to their doors. Ang pinaka first na mo gyud nga hotel nga, again, I would say we also owe it to them why up until now ni continue ang among operations. Si Golden Peak, we are with them. Golden Prince, si Sir Benny, si Sir Aaron, and then si Alicia Hotels and Apartel. So, and then ang akong sige tawag yun, ang paborito yun akong sige tawag, si Gerard, and then si Mike, si Sir June, si Mikey. So basically, almost the whole CBM is the CBM team. So yeah.
So muna siya kuan, teamwork.
Teamwork.
So I think that the name of the game to survive these times is really teamwork.
And relationship.
It's a time to build or foster relationships with other industry players, with your suppliers, and with anyone who can help your business.
And that's also one of the best things. Why murag plugging, shameless plugging na, that's one of the best things actually why we should be joining organizations, and especially with Cebu Chambers at that.
Yeah. So as what Gerard mentioned, it's really important to work together. Okay, like although in the industry we're basically competitors.
Yes.
So, but then again, in order for us to survive, we really have to help each other. So ang kuan ani is that, like for example, natay mga when we're seeking help, like kato nanawag ko ni Boss Jimmy, we need kaning 200 kuan kato minsan na siya
LTE router,
katong router,
Wi-Fi.
Router.
Wala pa to sa Manila, tawagan na po nako si itong kuan ni Jimmy gani si basically sa PLDT. So after a few days we got some supplies, so that's really good. Kay kuan man good, it was a challenge kay most of our employees, about I would say 95% doesn't have internet at home.
Yes.
Sa ila lang phone, and that is not enough. Kay we need quality man. So when they use their phone, maputol. So we really everyone was scrambling that time.
Curious, how was your productivity with, like, what is the percentage of your employees now working from home?
For us, before it was even if it was not announced yet, I really shifted it to right away to 100%.
100%.
Okay, because I saw na it will be going there. So kaysa sa sunod 2 weeks, sangit yun. Dagan mga to. So we have to call them up. Hey, asa naman? So there was a time when we had one of our IT to have a motorcycle to really go to the agent's house and talk dito, wake up. Ayun katulog. Because they're not used to it. Silang balay. And then poor lighting. So conducive kayo for sleeping. So kung you're in between calls, like about 2 minutes of kaning wrap-up time, to katulog na. So daghan na kay drop calls the next one. So those are some the challenges. But right now we're slowly putting them back into the office, about 60% in the office. But then again, there's another challenge because most of them doesn't want to go back to the office. So I think was June mentioned this na they're comfortable na mahinon ng uban with the other agents to work at home. But then again, we have to balance productivity.
Correct.
Kay lisod man sad. Yeah.
So inyo, boss?
For us, we've also managed to shift all of our employees to work from home 100%. Again, same challenges with, I think with everyone else. Connectivity was the number one issue.
Okay.
And earlier we mentioned about having the right partners. We are thankful that, PLDT has provided us the solution to our problem. So during the start, we were utilizing a lot of pocket Wi-Fi's for employees. And while working with our partners with PLDT, they offered a solution where we are allowed to have, we apply for a line and have it installed into the houses of our employees, which is very, very helpful.
And how about your the productivity?
On the productivity side, medyo okay, but medyo dili sad.
Ano lang siguro, as CEOs of your respective company, how kanang how do you balance, or how did you come up to a right balance between, trusting kanaging regay holding on and letting go, I hugot. But never bitaw kanaging the setup when we are in an office manggod is dali ra nato ma-check, dali ra na, and then if there are things nga we need to coach, we need to correct, we need to improve and give directions to, dali nato maduol, right? But with work from home, pwede ta ingnon nga ay walay connection, ay walay kuryente, ay kanang daghan kayo grason.
I guess
Sa inyong gibuhat.
it's really sort of like a leap of faith that you have to trust your employees that they will do the jobs that they're supposed to be doing. It's difficult because, like what you said, you cannot check. So although we have protocols in place to check on them from time to time, like if they're offline or if they don't respond within 5 minutes, their team leads are supposed to call them to make sure that they're still awake.
Pero what if dili tubagon?
So if dili tumagon, mo na siya,
See you in the morning.
see you in,
NTE?
talk to you later.
NTE?
TTYL.
But then again, no, if we just namo kita playbook, but prior to COVID, things like this are just basically business decisions na if this, then that. Pero karon magod, we have to reassess na not everything is just gonna be sa papel, then if kani, we do this. Kung kahit yung ulo, then we let go. But things are different now. Daghan kay factors na we have to consider. I'm curious about si Sir Jun. Sir Jun, during the pandemic, what was the most challenging experience that you, I know na every day naging kay meeting, you're all over the city in terms of representing the industry. What was your biggest challenge?
Well, for me, maybe I view things from a different perspective, since I'm looking overall or looking after the industry. So it was always the release of a new executive order, and to make sure that everything is properly clarified, and before we release some advisory to our members. Like there were cases wherein the executive order could be released on a Saturday evening or Saturday afternoon, and there are some vague issues in the EOs. So I had to start chasing different people. There was one time I remember I finally got the last answer at around 8 o'clock Sunday evening. So after that time, that was the time that I had to release my advisory to the members. But it really takes a lot of connections, critical thinking, creativity, how to get all those answers together and make sure that you get the right one. So you also have to counter check between one source to the other source, and make sure that once you release your advisory, you have the best answers or the best guidance for your members. So for me, that was the biggest challenge. Interpreting correctly the executive orders and giving to our members the proper guidance, so that, and then of course, so that they will be properly guided for the implementation.
How about sa mga Boss Mitch? What was the like, I know you guys are servicing the whole country, and when there was a surge of demand for better connection for the routers, what are you guys, I mean, we thank you for that. I mean, we were already scrambling from our end, from our own companies. How much more for you guys here like you're servicing everyone. What was your biggest challenge during the start of the pandemic?
Okay, so thank you, Mike. No, in relation to the COVID, kasi initially, as I mentioned earlier, it was the Soho LTE smart routers, no, then delivering it to the BPOs or to the respective homes of the agents. And after a few months, then now imagine this, because after when ECQ started, everything was closed. So even in our stocks coming from the respective different countries like China, for example, stopped sending stocks to the Philippines. So then naubusan kami ng stock. Nahurot yun tanan. And then eventually, when stocks arrived, we got to fulfill again because of the volume of number of agents. There was even a time that we were actually borrowing airplanes already so that we could deliver Soho router devices to Cebu, to Mindanao, just to support the BPO industry. And lately, the new challenge is because again, no, especially if you're doing pure voice services in the BPO space, then the challenge becomes the quality again. And when the quality issues started coming up, then we started getting a lot of the BPOs ordering from us fiber to the home. Or if there is no fiber in that respective home, then copper or DSL to the homes. So now we now have a very huge orders of backlog of orders in terms of fulfilling our fiber to the home requirements just strictly for the BPOs. We have even gone through several reviews to get more contractors to help us provision this. The issue kasi is this, no? Imagine if you have an installer in full metal gear of PPE going to a house or a barangay and trying to look for the home and installing these devices. If one person, this is a real experience that's happening to us now, and I'm sure with the other telcos as well. Imagine one of the provisioning or the fulfillment engineer going to those areas gets COVID, gets confirmed for COVID. Then we have to do contact tracing. For every person that gets positive, more or less there's about 12 to 15 of that same group in PLDT that needs to do self-quarantine. Then, so just imagine in a week's time, we could get 40 that gets confirmed. So imagine the number of people that needs to do self-quarantine and the contact tracing process that we have to follow. So it's quite challenging for that. And I know everybody's in a rush. So, but we're doing everything we can, from getting more contractors to making sure that they follow the strict protocols of safety so that our engineers don't get confirmed COVID cases. And the challenge really is manpower and the safety of the manpower so that we can fulfill what we need to fulfill. And I think in the near future, the challenge will all change. Now the challenge would be, how can we speed up the VPNs? The challenge will be cybersecurity endpoint devices or solutions to the PCs to guarantee our customers that that their data are protected, and all of these stuff. Because the new normal seems like 50 to 60% will remain on a work from home basis, at least for the next 2 years, at minimum.
Yeah. Sir Mitch, thank you for giving us a clear picture kung unsay on what are your challenges, because I believe this is not new to you nga kanang the clamor for a more stable internet, and then ang taga with other telco wanting to switch to PLDT, and PLDT existing clients wanting to switch to another telco, hoping there's a better connectivity, or that they can provide another connectivity. Now, there's actually a question that I have been wanting to ask you, with the work with more and more people and more household realizing the need. I would emphasize the word need, of having internet at home, and stable internet at that, and especially with dili lang work from home, but also with homeschool.
Yes.
What is the response of PLDT, and how fast would the execution be in terms of providing a more reliable and stable internet at
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Thank you, Jocelyn. No. So actually, that's a perfect question. Kasi so we not only have a backlog of a lot of the BPO agents work from home requirements to install fiber to the home, then e-learning came about. So when e-learning came about and it was announced, whether it was from DOH or CHED, then a lot of the people that have internet right now are either on the old service or very low bandwidth, and with people working from home or the parents working from home, they needed another service just purely for the student or students in one household. So now we're getting all of these orders as well for the e-learning for all of the students nationwide. So it's just everything is just coming in. So again, as mentioned, besides us getting more contractors to help us provision everything and do the best we can, number two is to make sure that our people are protected so that we don't have to do quarantine with our people that are on the ground. And the third is what we're doing recently, which I'm happy to announce, is that finally we have started already just this month. We have started already the migration through different contractors as well from our copper to fiber. So we will be migrating about 500,000 copper services in the various homes and enterprises to fiber for free. And we're going to be doing that in the next 12 months, and it's already kicked off. That will improve the quality of the service so that people with their existing copper DSLs would have fiber and can just easily upgrade and not need to get a new service. So I hope that will help. All of that help basically the need. Right now, the issue really is speed on provisioning, and it's believe me, I have nightly calls with the BPOs till midnight or 1 a.m. schedules that sometimes I miss, but it's mainly because of how fast can we provision the fiber installs to the homes. And so everything is focused on our fulfillment or installation group so that we can fulfill this for the BPOs and the students.
Yes. Yeah, thank you so much, Sir Mitch. As you know, like right now, I have a home office. So before, I'm just the only one, who has a video call every morning, throughout the day. Karon, mag-ilog na misa akong mga bata. So it's like, turn off your video so I can turn on my video on my end here on my Zoom call. Then my other kid is watching Netflix. Turn that off because I have an important call right now. So mag-ilog na. So that's why there's really kaning big demand right now, especially on the connectivity. Has this affected, Sir Mitch, the PLDT's strategy and goals? Kay mura magug ni shift, you have your own, di ba, katong 5G.
Yeah.
Now it's like you are shifting to a different segment wherein nakaroon there's a big demand for the work from home, and then plus the e-learning. Everyone is like they're na doing video calls with for their school, no? So has this affected the overall strategy, and is this like costing PLDT a lot? What are your thoughts?
Ah, thank you, Mike. Nindot kayo na question. So actually, good timing. So it did not change our strategy. Actually, we were very blessed. Grabe talaga. It was a blessing in disguise because in the last 3 years, majority of our capex has been put on the network. As you know, PLDT's focus was really onto fiber. It was really fiber. There are other telcos that's focused on the wireless side of the business. Kami, we are really going fiber directly to enterprises, directly to homes, which also powers up the smart and sun cellular signal towers, right? And our capex has been poured into that. And over the last 3 years, we've already spent more or less around 250 billion. This year alone, it will be 70 billion. And that majority of that is going purely on the network. It might have slowed down our 5G launch. We've launched 5G since 2016, and we've been testing in various areas until the standard of the 5G frequency comes out. But maybe it has delayed our massive rollout of 5G because right now we have to make sure first that LTE 4G, which works perfectly, is being rolled out. And then is enhanced and it cuts across all the country, and then that our fiber footprint really, we change everything to fiber talaga, and increase our footprint in fiber, because that's the original goal. So I think it's been a blessing in disguise. And buti na lang that since the COVID arrived, we were really prepared. COVID pandemic arrived and we were prepared. We did have to balance our network a little bit kasi during the ECQs, GCQs, and then we did it. We used our analytics team to make a decision on where to balance the capacity. So for example, if you were here in Metro Manila or in Cebu downtown, we would transfer the capacity from, during the ECQ days, which was a strict lockdown, we would transfer the capacity from enterprises to the homes, right? And now we're doing a balancing act, and I'm happy to announce na, kasi previously there was a big question na, mauubos ba yung capacity with everybody using internet? Hindi naman. So we're blessed in that sense that our strategy of laying down fiber, which also complements our smart and sun cellular signal towers capacity, was a blessing in preparation for this COVID crisis. But yes, it's still ongoing. And 5G, as President Felix mentioned, we will go heavily into IoT, and that's basically for the future na rin.
Well, I think no, that's a really great foresight from PLDT's end. Okay, I think you guys saw something.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that I've heard about it. You guys were preparing this 3 years ago. So
Yes.
it's a great foresight na like this is more worth it na investment.
Pero kuwang gihapon, Mike, pero hope we could be doing more, but yes.
Yes.
I'd like to, by the way, I'm inviting our audience, our members also, that if you have questions, especially for PLDT, this is your chance to really hear it from Sir Mitch.
From the one and only.
Oh, from the one and only.
The one and only.
The one and only. Happy ra ba kayo, Mi, nga ikaw mo ay representative sa PLDT on this, Sir Mitch? Anyways, I'd like to.
Si June wants to say something.
Yes, Sir June.
I'd just like to add comments to what Mike mentioned earlier about more usage of the internet at home, because even in my own house, my eldest son is also working online, so he needs the internet. And then during the height of the ECQ, my wife was staying at home, work from home basis. So every time I have to attend a webinar or an online meeting, I had a good reason to go to the office, because we had very good Wi-Fi here in the office, courtesy of PLDT through Jimmy Chua. So that gave me a good reason to go out of the house and be in the office, because during the ECQ, I was all alone also in the office. So that means I have the Wi-Fi all to myself.
So internet lagi karon is really has really become part of the basic needs.
Yeah.
Yes, basic need.
Pinagad siya. Oh, anyway, sir, I'd like to address this, Sir June. I read an article, September 1, Business World article, with Philippines slipping in the global outsourcing ranking and Cebu from number 12 down to number 15. So as an IT BPM consultant, what can you say about this? Recovery opportunities.
Well,
what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this report is based on the 2020 Fallon's report. Actually, we had advance info on this report as early as mid-July. And based on the new report of Fallon's, they again changed the criteria, and they put heavier emphasis on artificial intelligence and intelligent automation, which we have to admit that we still have a lot to do, or a lot of catching up to do. So as a result, I think 5 bigger cities came into the top 10 of the list, and Cebu fell by 3 notches only.
Yes.
So, despite the fact that 5 big cities came in, we fell only 3 notches. And the truth is, some bigger cities in India fell way beyond Cebu. No? So, in short, we still have something to thank for, but we can say that the list is becoming more and more competitive.
Yes.
And if we don't really level up, then it's possible that we will be displaced in the top 15. So it's a challenge. And the good thing is we have started addressing this because we see more technology coming in. And we have started with the training of our senior high school students in terms of basic coding. And we piloted with 5 schools, and these are all public schools. So this project was in partnership with the Cebu City School Board and Cebu City DepEd. And they were able to identify five public senior high schools. And we were able to train the teachers initially, I think starting October 2018, and this was finished April 2019. And by June 2019, we were able to start training our students. So we decided for a pilot of about 40 students per public school. But to our surprise, we ended up with about 500 students being trained. So we were only expecting about 200 students, but even more than double the number of students. And as a result of this training, there was one school who even had their own um, game, game development competition. And I was able to witness that competition. And I was really surprised, though the products are very raw, but we can see a lot of potential if these students will be given more training and more opportunities to really expand their knowledge when it comes to technology. So we were even planning for a second phase of the um, coding training, which is advanced coding, which will introduce our students to basic Java training. That was supposed to be scheduled April 20. In fact, we already bought the tickets for the trainers, but of course, we all know that COVID came in. So right now, that project is left hanging. We're just waiting for the right time, but Cebu City DepEd is open to continue the training by summer of 2021. So we hope that training continues so that we can have more competitive students, senior high students entering college with the right kind of skill set. And definitely Cebu is way, way ahead compared to the other cities when it comes to being the coding capital of the Philippines. We're fortunate, by the way, to have a national partner with a group of Joey Durango who has been offering the free training to our teachers. We just have to pay for their airfare and their hotel accommodation while they're here in Cebu.
I see. Yeah.
Nice.
So, thank you so much for those information, Sir Jun. So, you mentioned about kining trainings, no? I have a question about the Tolons, but kining sa trainings, karon, because of the current pandemic or situation, will the training continue like remotely, like video call na lang, or do they have to be in a classroom para ma-continue to siya?
We're still hoping to have the final advanced training for our senior high teachers by the summer of 2021. But of course, we will know when the time comes if we can do it. Or probably we can consider online training, the worst case. But since I'm not fully, I'm already retired with Sim.O, I can just give my advice to my predecessor, or my successor rather, to pursue this training because the interest is there from DepEd and the schools themselves.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Yeah, Sir Jun, about the tolerance, but do you think this will affect potential investors, new ventures that are gonna come into the ICT BPM space, given the ubos atong ranking, or it's not gonna affect at all?
Well, if you look at the way Tollens has been ranking the different cities, they're now putting more premium on artificial intelligence and intelligent automation. But looking at the global scenario right now, I think there will be a second wave of outsourcing boom for our country. And why do I say that? Basically, because if we look back at the 2008 2009 global financial crisis, it was we were the only industry who grew by a double digit because there was a need for cost savings. And outsourcing is always a proven solution to have more savings. No? So I am hoping that, again, with the need for more cost savings, more and more global businesses will be looking for this outsourcing opportunities. And as long as we have the right kinds of skill sets, and of course our advantage with our language advantage and the cost advantage, plus we have very trainable people, I would say that we are ready to accept those outsourcing opportunities for the Philippines. So let's hope that will come.
I see.
We're still hoping as of this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mitch.
I'd like to add, Mike.
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I also read kasi the Tolon's report and when I read it, I found it a little bit kuan lang. Medyo pagkagamay weird lang kasi included dito ang America, included ang UK. I mean, they're not really outsourcing destinations, right? They're the ones that outsources. Anyway, but when you read the article and to your question, will Cebu City or the Visayas loses its credibility or being a hotspot in terms of new investors or BPOs coming in? I don't think so, just based on that report. I think it has to be measured because the study was done during the pandemic. So I think it really has to be, it doesn't lose, Cebu doesn't lose its credibility. What needs to be done basically is how are we addressing basically the COVID situation. So from before, kasi we were caught off guard. It took a while before the country started doing rapid testing. Now realizing that it's not, rapid testing does not really work, and we really have to do the PCR swab testing. All of these things, no. So we have to do a better job in terms of managing the COVID cases, and all of that, because as we all know, there is a shortage of hospitals, hospital beds. Healthcare workers like our nurses and doctors. And I think that's, if we can address the COVID situation a little bit better, I think, and then the country and Cebu can get back on track on being a more attractive destination, and maybe go even positive on the ranking versus the other countries. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Sir Mitch. Those are really insightful. So with the Tolans also, I find it also, yeah, as you mentioned, weird, no? Okay, like in the Tolans, na especially in the survey or in the one, okay, more on, as mentioned by Sir Jun, on the AI side and the automation. My question is, should we always, dili siguro ta magkuhan sa, will not depend on tolerance, right? Okay, for me, I think we should go for, we solidify our strength, which is really more on sa voice man ta karon, di ba?
Yeah.
So that's our one. And from us, we see it na kung sa technical lang yun, then it's a given na si India ginay mo will be on top of the list. So yeah, we have some questions here from the participants. This is addressed to Quad. One of the question here is, aside from the work from home, so this work from home, these are people working already in a physical office, and then now they're working remotely. Then we have the e-learning. So that's like added to the massive demand for connectivity. Then there's another, actually the third one, which is there's now, from the BPO side, I've seen this, those who are senior BPO agents or who've been working night shift for what, 7 years or more, they're now going into freelancing. So like the online work. So because of the pandemic, I've seen a huge demand into shifting kind of digital work. Dito. So now people from especially senior BPO employees, they're now shifting into the freelancing. So that's like another group added to the huge demand already for connectivity. So with this, Sir Mitch, what are the plans of PLDT to can increase or maybe can to cater all these demands? What are your future plans? Sa
Yeah, so thank you again, Mike. No, so the future plans is really number one. We have to do a massive, which we started doing, massive migration program from copper DSLs to fiber, because fiber will address any internet need, depending on the bandwidth you get, depending on the volume of people in your own household. No, whether it's doing work from home, e-learning, or online work type of engagements. No, so that's number one. The second one is we're continuously, as mentioned, the 70 billion for this year alone is to to add more resiliency. I'll address why resiliency and capacity. Capacity basically is so that we can address more people, because the number of new internet users or mobile users, imagine we are 109 million population in the country, but there is 125 million mobile subscribers. So, ang uban tao, duha ka telepono, di ba? So, and then imagine now that the children are now starting to adapt to mobile phones at an early age and are hungry for data. It's the new drug, yung data, di ba? So capacity is very important, and resiliency. Why resiliency? In the Philippines, we're quite unique. We're in 7,106 islands. Our network is covers the country in terms of submarine, because it has to go inter-island. It's aerial from poles. It's underground, and a lot of construction that happen, whether it's road widening projects, or we're the only country also that does not have the proper demarcation of where pipes or conduits or telco fiber should be laid out. So there is a lot of construction that hits our fiber, then a lot of downtime issues. And our number one goal for this year, with our CRO Al Palnillo and president of Smart, is to really bring back the customer experience. So besides the expansion on the network on capacity and resiliency, and then the copper migration to fiber, the third is really making sure that we provide the best customer experience, meaning to improve our customer support, so that we be more proactive in instead of being reactive. So yun yung kailangan namin. That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
There's actually another question, Mike.
Yeah, we have
another question. So why does our country lag behind on internet speed and service?
Oh, okay. Yes, I can answer that. Murag hot topic ko karong adlaw.
Yes. Sige lang, Sir Mitch.
Okay, so
technology, and then before we talk about people.
Oh, sige. So I can explain that. Basically, we're one of the few unique countries talaga compared to our very strong ASEAN partners. No, in different parts of the world, the government basically builds the network. The government finances the network, and telcos lease from those networks. Here in the Philippines, we have to build our own network. And as you all know, and you've seen President Duterte bashing the telcos, why we're too slow in improving the towers, new towers to provide more cell sites or the internet speeds, and it's mainly because of the number of permits that we need to get, the number of fiber that we need to cross the country with 7,106 islands, and the capex that we can spend. But I know it's not just PLDT, even our competitors are aggressive in the CAPEX spend. I don't know if you've seen the report in the last 3 years. The internet speeds has greatly increased, right? And it's become cheaper as well. So improvements has been happening every year, and the quality is actually there. Compared to small countries like Singapore or the footprint of Vietnam, who again gets government support. So these are the type of challenges that the country and the telcos in the Philippines actually struggle with. But again, it's the way to do business here, and we try to do our best. Again, and it's mainly investments really on the network. It's basically that, and you will see improvements. And if you see, as again, see some studies compared to the past, it's a very, very, very big improvement na talaga in terms of internet speed and the pricing as well that has gone down through the years. So I hope I answered that properly.
Well,
Yes, you answer that.
there's actually more questions for you coming from the audience.
Yeah, I just would like to add something, Sir Mitch, no, with regards to this issue. A lot of times, the issue isn't really with our telco, but with our internal infrastructure. Sometimes we set up our businesses, we have 20 employees, but we don't add infrastructure to our offices. So we just rely on what is provided to us by the telco. And sometimes that's the cause of the problems. It's not necessarily that the speed of what the telco is providing us is low, but it's just incapable of handling all of the traffic. If you have a lot of devices or computers
So you
running through
you
the
mean to
network,
say it has to be complementary?
yeah, you also have to do your part to ensure that your internal infrastructure is able to handle what you need.
And to reinforce what Sir Nick said earlier, na because of our unique geography and also with our structure in the government, so lisod gid siya. This is also true in the power sector actually. So the same thing I've heard sa kuan. Cannot really lower sa kuan, so they'll be giving charity kuan na lang. So okay, they have to cross different kuan. Ipaagi pa sa tawagan na sa dagat, di ba? Sa kuan,
Undersea
cabling.
cables.
So it's really difficult, and then also it's really enlightening na there's that issue about safety as well. Karon there's so many demands for faster setup or installation. But then again, I realized na, of course, those people that mag-install, mga contractors, they have to go to each houses, and who knows that particular household has COVID. So what if na positive, and so everyone else in that team will be isolated. So lisod yun. So it's like this is enlightening because we can see the other side as well ba, na the telcos are also doing their best to give us that's the demand for connectivity. I think this is really good. No?
Yeah.
So, napakaikuan mo?
No, I on the technology side, I think I'm good, but I'd like to talk about, if okay with you, I'd like to transition to opportunities this time. So going back, no, ang title sa ato ang coffee table discussion is Challenges and Opportunities of a Thriving Industry. I'd like to ask the two CEOs here and our IT consultant, like especially with the unemployment rate of the Philippines increasing, and I guess that's an understatement even, but daghan pa gyud kaayo. What are the opportunities that the ICT and BPM industry are providing and can provide further in the foreseeable future? In the foreseeable future.
It's a very complicated
Uncertain kaayo, no?
Yeah.
Well, it's a complex question. So basically, sa kuha na side, I always see our industry as a jump starter. Just imagine, so just like tourism, the ICT as well, or the ICT BPM can jumpstart the economy. Like for example, since my I'm more on the rural side. na kuan. So I go to areas where it's feasible to do business in terms of BPO. But I always notice na when I set up office there, give it a few weeks, then I will see a 24-hour bake shop already. I will see a 24-hour, 24 by 7 karinderya. Then there will be now transport near the corner sa kuan sa in the office. Then there would be kuan, so it became kuan busier na. Before it's like after 10 o'clock, it's like there's a curfew. Now so busy na kayo siya. So it's the same thing with kuan ba. So I think from my side, since I'm servicing SMEs as my with my clients, there's always this huge demand for outsourcing. Just imagine the SMB, small medium businesses outside, like in the US, Australia, and Europe. Ilan na sila? They're like millions. So just imagine if we have homegrown BPOs here in the Philippines. Let's just say 5,000. 5,000 with 250 employees each. That's what? That's 800 to almost a million new or BPO employees. So there's more opportunities out there, especially now because with the pandemic happened. SMBs are opting and finding ways to lower their OPEX or CAPEX or expenditures, no? And that one way to mitigate that or to solve that is to really outsource. And because of our reputation here in the Philippines, karon gani, dili na kailangan kayo heavy ang marketing because they're just mag-email na lang na mga inquiries.
Right.
Like karon, like right now, I posted something like an opportunity because a new client that would come in looking for the best of the best. So ba? So I think it's the future is bright, no, sa BPO industry, especially karon. I think we would roughly by next year we would add at least 300,000 new BPO agents, no, or employees. Yeah.
Well, there are other BPOs, and in fact, also Qualphone was affected, especially at the height of COVID. I would say nagsubside na siguro gamay. Well, I'm not. I am not expert in that area, but when I say at the height of COVID, I meant March, April, May. So we also we had an account. It's a travel and tourism account. We lost a client. However, thanks God, and it's just an immense blessing. Another account came in with an even bigger manpower requirement compared to what we lost. So at least we were able to transfer those employees. We didn't have to term them or let go of them. And in fact, there are more clients. There are more clients coming in, and I would have to agree with you, Mike. With more and more companies looking for opportunities to lower down capex and opex, there's a bigger opportunity in the industry here in the Philippines. Now, I'd like to take this opportunity as well to and especially for those who have been displaced out there, or for those whose businesses are affected, that this is also an opportunity where you can help your employees. You can reach out, and you can actually reach out, and we can help each other to reskill them. Let's reskill them, and again, only if you and they are also interested, because no matter how much we want to help the people, if they don't want to be helped, there's only so much we can do. So at least to be prepared ba, such that by the time we grow again, or growth is already here, no? But if we are given more blessings, dili na ganita mapariha sa pre-COVID time nga there's like a talent war, yeah, di ba? There's a talent war nga. Ang the name of the game is who can pay the highest niya.
Signing bonus.
Yes, signing bonuses niya. Luoy in town kaayo mi nga ang mga gagmay nga who can only afford so much or who cannot afford the high cost of hiring people. I hope we can take this opportunity to invest on skill, the necessary skill, and I don't want to call it soft skills. It's no longer soft skills. It's a necessary skill, the behavioral skill, because also no matter how good the employees are, if it's not coupled with the right attitude, wala lang gihapon. We still suffer the high cost of attrition.
Yes.
So for us, I want to talk about a different kind of opportunity because I think my colleagues have already discussed the possible business opportunities. For our company, we have taken this opportunity to retool and reskill, enhance the skills of our people. So instead of getting them, laid off or letting them go out to work and have that risk of getting the virus, we took this opportunity for them to improve, so that when the time comes that things are better, we would also have a much better team. I guess
Correct.
in a way, it's also our way of showcasing our humanity in a way. Because
Yes.
for the past couple of years, it has been our workers that have taken care of our business. And now I think it's time for our business to take care of our workers.
Yeah.
Well said.
So, if we do that, you not only improve your team, but you also gain their trust and loyalty, which in turn makes them want to work more.
So is this your way now of saying you are a convert of ano to?
I'm a disciple
beyond
of,
Beyond
business beyond profit?
Yes. Okay. Kana lang. We've relied on them so much before this pandemic that they have given us the opportunity to be blessed. So karon, ato sang ibalik pa.
Yeah.
Para mas stronger ato ang team once we come out of this.
Just like to survive again, aside from working together as an industry, no? So we also have to work together with our employees. So a win-win ba?
Yeah.
So matabangan ko na to sila. Then in terms of upskilling, I have a question for Sir Jun. Sir Jun, there's Joey mentioned earlier about there's actually a need right now, a growing need for skilled BPO agents or workers, no? And there's also on the other side, some other industries, businesses are losing or are closing shops. So is there an opportunity, Sir Joe, to work together with the government and those businesses who reduce their staff or the close shop, that we can probably reskill itong mga employees who were displaced, so that they can also apply if they want to into or go into the BPO. What are your thoughts on that, June?
Well, I think on reskilling our talents, that's something that can best be in partnership or in collaboration with the industry people themselves, because they're the ones who know better what's coming up. That's why we have even encouraged a lot more partnerships between our senior high schools, so that these students who will be graduating at the age of around 18 years old will be more ready for the jobs in the industry. And once they're immersed or trained in the industry, they really get to be trained on first-hand. They get to touch the work and feel the work environment themselves. So it's very important that the industry will collaborate, and at the same time, the schools will collaborate with the industry. We have to work together to prepare the right kind of talents. It's not that The industry complains that we don't have uh, the right kind of talent for the industry. So they should also help in shaping up the kind of talent that will eventually land in the industry. So it's a partnership. It's very critical. If we don't have this partnership, I doubt if the schools will be able to produce the right kind of talent that the industry needs. So we should be working together.
Right, it's great.
Okay.
So go on. So will there be an issue, no? I'm just thinking na if we reskill the katong mga displaced, di ba? Like for the senior high, I think it's easy to train them. Pero katong mga na-reskill, will there be an issue training people who already are adults or kuan ba? No? Well, those are just some questions, but I think there's a lot of opportunity
There's a
there
lot of opportunities
as well. No? So I always think of our industry as something na kuan ba? If you look at it, no, during the ECQ, it is the ICT BPM who's really stood there and provide keep the economy running. Kaya kung walay work ang mga tao, if the BPO were closed, there were no money. Kung walay kwarta, so the market, katong mga gagmay na mga maligya in the markets will not have anything to sell kay may mamali. And because people doesn't have money, no? So it's kon gani kay bisag na katong mga agents nato na mga work, so they can then send money to their family. Their family can then use the money to buy food. So it kept the economy moving.
Alive.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention as well that Ma'am Alice Kiblatin,
Alice, yeah.
yes, Miss Alice Kiblatin has also helped us a lot, and of course vice versa, no? Kay of course their drivers are not working anymore.
Tourism sila na.
Sa tourism sila, sa tourism, and then while during the ECQ we needed to provide shuttles for our employees to shuttle them back and forth sa hotel and also sa site. We were able to get in touch with them, and we're getting ang concept at that time was no longer about profit, but providing employment opportunities. Where buhay-buhay na lang, di ba? Buhay-buhay na lang yun. So it was really a give and take. They are partners, and up until now our partners gave us a very very favorable prices to sustain, and vice versa. We were also able to sustain like the drivers, the hotel employees, those who are providing food 3 times a day for the employees working in the office, and so many more. So it has actually created a domino effect. So if we are going to sustain this industry, and we have already discussed about growth, then it's there's nowhere to go but up, and to improve and move on and go on.
Yes, so those are really great insights. Napakay
lang, so I'd like to add, if you haven't seen it, even at its most basic form, ICT can drive the economy forward. You can see all of the micro businesses coming up using ICT as a platform.
Yeah.
People selling on Facebook, people selling on Instagram, the very basic.
So, everybody has become an online seller.
So kita
as demand and skill dito.
Yes.
As businesses, I think it's also the right time to transform and adapt.
Yeah, right.
Downtime ba?
Yes.
So it's not going to be as disruptive to your operations if you take this opportunity now to adapt. Para moving forward, going into the future, you'll be much more competitive.
It's just like the kuan ba, murag sa instead of for businesses to have like a reactive approach to change, or karon actually because of the pandemic, everyone is really forced to digitize, no?
Yeah.
No exception.
No exception.
Yeah, you go into an online meeting, so akong mga in-laws who doesn't know how to do Zoom, nagkabuang na itaw sila unsaon man ni how to kuan kaning join the call. things like that. So, and then yeah,
we can't stress any further the need to go digital and to embrace technology.
So bring it on.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. So
We have a kuan ma'am kining. I think there are some participants who'd like to ask some questions. Should
yes,
we
sure,
kuan, no?
sure.
Do we have
sure.
kuan? I think we still have some time.
Yeah.
Do we have among the participants joining our us here who like to ask some questions? I see naman to si President Felix Irina.
Yeah.
So do we have anyone who'd like to join in? And you can ask us, ask Sir June and Sir Mitch.
Or maybe if someone can also would want to share
Yes.
their
Or someone who wants to share. Yes, yeah. Na ba? I see Sir Benny.
Sir Ben,
Sir Benny.
Sir Aaron.
Who has a question? Abay, John? Yes, President Felix, do you have something to share as well?
This question is let me formulate a question and anyone can answer this one, no? Whether it's in the infrastructure side or from the what do you call the BPO sector, no? And as technology goes by, and as we may all know that there will be a third telco coming in. Now, presumably, and that has been the talk for a while, and they are really doing a lot of things here in Cebu, looking for cell sites and looking for contractors. Now, would you think that the new 5G thing will be the same as what the existing infrastructure 5G or PLDT is doing, the same capability, or the newer one can come in more, let's say, of a better quality?
Sir Mitch.
Yes. Thank you, President Felix, for the
straight to the point. Open talk.
Yes. This is actually a good question, President Felix. I handle also the Odena Group, which owns Dito in partnership with China Telecom, right? And I do understand that they are building a 4G network and soon 5G as well. The tricky part kasi of 5G is this new technology. The standard of the frequency that will be used for 5G has just been released, and that usually ginasunod man na sa tanan globally kung unsay standard na mogawas, no? And when that standard comes out, everybody will have to adapt. And see, it's not as easy as the 2G and 3G na i-upgrade nimo to 4G. No, 5G is totally different. 5G will give so much power that it can cut through walls. You can get up to 1 gig of bandwidth in your mobile phone. But the tricky part, dugol kayo ang mga cell towers. Every 100 meters, you need another tower. Or you need another. Yes, it's so. For example, sa usa ka 4G na tower, kailangan nimo 4 or 5 ka buok tower to cover the same area that the 4G covers, because it's very short span of 100 meters lang, short span siya. Pero pusog kayo, it will cut through walls, it will give you the internet speed to do anything you want in your mobile phone, and the use cases basically. For now in our studies and what's happening globally also, it could be beneficial for home if you're using fixed wireless or mobile phones for the consumers, but that's when the mobile phones also goes down cheaper, because right now there are only a few 5G phones that are coming out in the market, and it's very expensive. That's the first one. The real use cases is in the enterprises. It will really drive change in the enterprises, whether it's the BPO IT industry, the manufacturing industry, because then you can power up a lot of IoT devices. It can be used as a backup for BPO. I mean, it's so powerful that the enterprises will benefit more than the consumers itself on the short term, on the initial side when it's being launched. So yun po. So yes, it's going to be beneficial. It doesn't give Dito an edge because I guess our competitor, you know who,
Yes.
is already has already 5G up. We also have 5G up, but because again that you need to launch this totally separate network across the country, we covered only right now a few metros, and soon it will be reaching Cebu.
Soon, soon.
Sir Mitch, there's
Yes.
another question here, and I think this is related to the question of President Felix
Okay.
from anonymous attendee. Are
Yes.
telco players are considering to work together to build the required infrastructure for the country to improve customer demand and customer experience?
Good, very good question. My answer to that basically it's starting already. So right now, Globe and Smart Globe and Smart Globe and Dito are already doing tower sharing. So yung cell sites magta-tower share na yung lahat ng telco. So at least it's starting from there. But from a infrastructure, fiber infrastructure, I don't see that happening anytime yet soon. Although, as you all know, there are telcos that orders services from telcos. So in a way, it's already sharing, may fee lang siya. But for the cell towers, we're already doing that as we speak on the tower sharing companies that are coming into the country.
There's more.
Yes, okay.
Ah,
Yeah,
more pa.
nananabay more questions.
Okay. It says here, this is addressed to all panelists. They are the gainers. They are the gainers during this time of pandemic. No, this is addressed to telco, PLDT. So
Ah,
they are the gainers during this time of pandemic. Hope they can help the business industry in terms of connectivity, in as much as we rely mostly now on online communication. The availability of computers and internet, businesses are scrambling because of unavailability of stocks, as suppliers most often say somebody has bought all our stock, so what we should do is contact the resellers at a higher cost. Okay, that was addressed to all panelists, and I guess that's more to the whole chambers.
okay, so maybe I'll start muna sa connectivity side, no. There was a article that was released, I think this yesterday, by Rappler on the most affected industries. It's not necessarily true that telcos are the gainers. To be honest, if you see the first half results of the telcos during the pandemic, it's not that. I mean, it's not as we're not growing as fast as we want to grow, and it's mainly because you must understand there are a lot of companies that have closed down. There are a lot of companies inside malls that malls had to close down during the ECQ, the MECQ, and all of these. So there are a lot of businesses that have closed down and resp- have requested to be disconnected as well from the telcos, right? But from a work from home perspective and a mobile data requirement, yes, there are some gainers there, and I'm telling, as I always tell in many events that I speak to, it is in our best interest to serve you with the best quality of service, because that is our business. We don't have revenues kasi if we don't get to serve you guys also. So we're doing the best we can. As I mentioned, that we're getting more contractors to help on the installation side of things. We're migrating our old copper network to fiber as we speak. And again, we're improving our customer support as well, so that we can provide better customer experience to you guys. So I hope that answers the question. Thank you.
You, Sir Mitch, there's another, I think we have another question. Spotlight at City.
Wait, are we still okay with the time?
You still have time, guys. Juan. We have a question, I think, from PP June Montuerto. PP June, are you there? Well, okay. So while waiting, siguro, no, we have another question. Uh, the question is, because of this new player, Sir Mitch, they're asking how long would the new player will catch up, given the infrastructure need, to be. What do you think is the timeline, or will they be able to catch up to what PLDT can offer? Yeah. What do you think, in order to be a relevant player in the market? Uh, can you hear me? Uh,
Sir Mitch?
okay, Sir June. So we have a question for you. So
Yes.
there are some no? There are some people asking. So do you think that it's still how given the pandemic with the current situation, what do you think Cebu still capable to cater more investment or
More players.
investors, BPO, given karon it's our industry is a gainer, no? So is Cebu still capable to do that? Like, for example, do we still have space? What about the talents? Like, we can only say for ourselves, no, but you, given you represent the industry before, you have first-hand information. So what do you think is Cebu still capable for new ventures coming in? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, I think Cebu is still capable of handling more locators, but since we have a lot of locators already, then we can be more discriminating, or we can choose as to what kind of industries we would like to attract to the city. Of course, we would like to attract the higher value services, and probably we can recommend the entry level companies to our neighboring cities as well, since they're also in need to expand their um, outsourcing industry. So, but it's very important that we continue to prepare our talents so that they will be ready for these higher value jobs. So again, uh, we would like to emphasize that we give our students the proper training and the proper exposure in the industries so that they can be better ready for the jobs. And we have so much senior high graduates that we can tap. And one thing that we can say is that there has been more partnerships between the senior high schools and the industries lately. So we would like this kind of partnership to continue. Um, Give them more opportunities, our senior high students, even though they're coming from the public schools. They're one of the more loyal uh, workers because they really need the job. And one of their motivations also of getting a job is so that they can continue to go schooling. And I know most of our companies are also providing educational assistance to students who are interested to pursue college education. So yeah, we can still accommodate more, but I would say we can be more selective since Cebu is already an established
Opportunities in
as
locating in
a
the countryside.
IT BPM hub.
Mhm. Yeah, in relation to, thank you so much, Sir Jun, about that. In relation to that, no, you have a question.
Yeah,
Leslie?
I was gonna ask Sir Jun again, going back during the height of the pandemic, no, there were pop up shops. Pop up shops have been, yeah, there were pop up shops. I am curious, like how ready are we in terms of how ready is our infrastructure in terms of locating in the countryside.
Well, based on the
And
experience
that
of this,
that question is also addressed to Sir Mitch. So the both of you.
okay. Well, based on the experience of this one company who has, I think, one in Danao, one in Consolas, one in Liloan, one in Consolas, one in Talisay. Four pop-up sites across Cebu. They're quite satisfied with what they have, but they tried to limit the size also of these pop-up sites to be just pop-up sites. So maybe from 20 to 30 people, mostly tapping their employees who come from that location. And I would say for now, they're getting the right kind of building facilities and hopefully the connectivity as well. And of course, the talent because these are their employees. And it's like working from home because they're working closer to home. And it also made our governor very happy because it brought the jobs out of Cebu City, but more to the countryside, which is also good because we see more non-urban centers to be given these opportunities where we bring the outsourcing jobs to places like different towns in the south and the north.
Like Bogo, for example, is very aggressive.
Yes, I would say, and they have. I would say they have been successful because they're not complaining. So I think this is something that other companies might look into also as an option because the advantage here is that you don't put your eggs in just one basket. So you have a backup site, as we call it, just like Cebu started as a backup site in the early 2000s.
Yes.
But
Yes.
eventually they discovered that Cebu is a gold mine of talents. So who knows? They will also discover these different towns to be gold mine of talents.
That's just great. So, in relation to that, Sir Mitch, is since the government is now pushing to decentralize, no? I mean, have everyone go outside the metro, especially in terms of ventures, investment in the BPO. So they're pushing for countryside development. What are the plans of PLDT in relation to this countryside development, especially like putting BPOs there or ventures into the mga like 10 kilometers and beyond outside the metro?
Yep. Thank you, Mike. I actually have a very good example to that. No? So just I'd like to confirm what June just mentioned. A lot of the big BPO players that have big customers that still expect the level of quality in terms of the service they provide are trying to get as much people to work on site. Kasi right now, Manggod, the average of people working on site on applying social distancing on site is around 27 to 30%, diba? So ang nanghitabo is there's a lot of these huge BPOs in Metro Manila that are now looking for open spaces or hubs or even as small as internet cafes and getting them, renting them and making it a mini BPO that has a volume of agents on those respective areas. And it has an opportunity also for the real estate developers, especially for the Cebu area or the whole Visayas. Today, I got a call from a lady who talked to me back in 2016 or 2017, and she was trying to pitch to me her building in Cagayan de Oro. Na palihog kong tabangi ko padadere og BPO sa CDO sa akong building, di ba? Has 3 floors and all of that. And just today, she called me up and she said, Mitch, praise God, we have a BPO that is going to get 2 floors and asking for first of right refusal for the 3rd floor. And she is so happy now. So a lot of these BPOs are looking for those available real estates. And as PLDT, what we normally do, that's why she called me, is can you ensure that we have 2 fiber footprints that will be going into the building coming from different nodes? So obviously, we are doing that as well for them. So we're very supportive of the IT BPM industry, whether it's in Cebu or the rest of the country. And usually they give us a heads up also, the BPO players. Now, I'm setting up here, I'm setting up there, please make sure. And we always make sure that there is fiber readily available to make sure that operations is sustainable and for the capacity they need. So yun. So that's the answer for that. Thank you.
There's is actually, I think this is a very relevant and a really realistic question. Since economies around the world are declining and countries are trying to improve their economy, are IT BPM players concerned that Western countries such as US and UK will take back jobs or activities?
Yeah. So I think you've heard from that now. We got from leaders in other countries to take back the jobs, bring back the jobs, bring back home the jobs. So yes, Sir John, what do you think about that?
Well, can I answer that
By the
question?
way, Sir John, nagsabot dahil mi ganina nga basta lisod gari ang question, among ipasa nimo.
This is just my 2 cents worth of opinion on that question. Well, businessmen as they are, they will always look for opportunities to save. So if they see that it's more profitable to operate outside their country, then they will always go for that. Maybe they will be patriotic, but at the end of the day, they will always think of how can we sustain the business in a better way. So if we offer that option for them, the better way option for them, then they will always look at us.
Yeah.
I agree with that too. So
yes.
Yes.
So yeah, it all boils down to like especially
we also
karon,
agreed. Our answer
COVID
would be,
times.
we agree.
Businesses are closing shop, so they might, if businesses wants to bring back the jobs back to their home country, either they really, number one, they really must be very patriotic, or number two, they have so much capital to support that, So, and I think that's it's the opposite. So I think businesses are trying to survive, and one way to mitigate this risk right now is to save money. And what better way to save money and with the same level, almost the same level of quality, than to outsource, especially here in the Philippines. Before we entertain other questions, I'd like to invite everyone to please turn on your video, but just put yourself on mute so we have some people taking our photos. So picture.
We have actually extended
we
our
have
time.
extended. I wish we
don't
have
mind.
more times. We have a lot of questions. Padala na lang yun mo ni Sir Mitch o ni Sir Jun.
yes, please.
And by the way, this is just this is before we proceed to the next question. This coffee table discussion is a springboard to the ICT BPM summit, which we are still deciding the date. It could be last week of September or possibly in October, but the discussion today has been very engaging, so we'll take cue from today's discussion for
all those
the actual
questions
summit.
na we cannot cater to answer, so we will take note of that, especially, and address those questions on the summit, on the ICT summit. I think Sir Jun, you raise your hand ba? Oh, no. Okay, sige.
Wala lang. I just wanted to add related to the question earlier.
Okay.
Businesses have always played the part between politics and business interest. So our industry, I think, for the foreseeable future will be very stable and safe. Their government might demand them to balance. They have their sort of like a quota that they keep in their respective countries. And then at the same time, they are also allowed to outsource so that they can save. Okay. So with that regard, that has been the normal, I think, since the start, because there's always politicians who are against, outsourcing. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, in the interest of the business, they also have to appease their government.
Yeah. So that's really true, no? It's a balance, but then again, even if for example, my client, he was encouraged to bring back the job in Philadelphia, but he was saying, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. So no choice for him. So he has to really go on. Then the quality has been great.
Yeah.
So he's satisfied. So mo na, no? So
And it's not only about the cost, but the service level
the service level, yes. So
that Filipinos provide.
So,
yes.
sa photo na ta.
So man, mag another round of coffee. We can go on until
Until midnight.
until midnight. But then again, so again, so as mentioned by Jocelyn, this is just a springboard event for the ICT BPM Summit that will happen 2 weeks from now. We'll finalize the date. We'll invite you guys so we can also join in and answer all those questions and concerns that you have. Okay, we will entertain one more question. I think PP June Montuerto has raised his hand. PP June, are you
Yes,
there?
yes, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Coronavirus has really driven all of us to a safer haven, to the point that we suddenly realized that communication and access to communication are very important to not only to our social life, to our lives, but also to business. As a matter of fact, we do a lot of things now using our phone, our computers, our iPad, Zoom, Viber, Messenger, just to link us with people and with business. And I raised the question because I moved from Cebu City to Karkar, and I have this subscription to both Globe and PLDT. I rather smart, and I'm encountering problems here with sometimes with my internet. So I think questions have been asked about infrastructure and so forth and so on, and the current plans of PLDT to improve service and all that. I'm just curious to know if you have program, if you already established enough infrastructure in this area in Karkar to address our concern. That's number one. Number two, in Lapu-Lapu City, where we also have a problem in our company with internet signal, we were forced to avail of the services of Rice, another internet provider, to improve the connectivity and all that. And when we tried to solve our problem in Karkar by asking them if they can cover Karkar, and we were informed, unfortunately, that it's only from Cebu City up to Lapu-Lapu, and that the southern area is not yet covered. So another question, a follow-up question I'm raising is that, do you have in PLDT a similar facility that we can possibly avail of in order to address our concern with communication, access to communication? Because that's really, very, very vital to us in our business. So those are the two questions I have raised actually. So thank you very much if you can give me the answer.
Thank you, June. June, I don't really know offhand in my head kung unsay among fiber footprint sa Karkar, Cebu, no? I can have it checked, and I will have my business head in Cebu, either si Jimmy Chua or si Kent de la Calzada, call you. Pero again, as the plans kasi, sir, is we will have to reach 98% of the country, even to the far-flung areas, in the end of the year. So I'm just hoping that kauban na ang Karkar sa among expansion, so mukusog ang internet niyo diha. So my question lang, June, is are you using wireless devices diha sa Karkar na katong kanahinay, or
both? It's wireless, wireless now. Yeah,
So,
Mitch,
so
I
wala,
would say that this coronavirus is really a boom to Globe, Smart, and PLDT, no? Because you are the only business. Our business is down. We have we have difficulty with our revenues. My hotel is closed, cannot operate. But with Globe, Smart, and PLDT, my God, you're doing great business. Your collection is very fast and very efficient.
Sir,
I would say
iba
that
yung
you're truly blessed.
collection.
You belong to the best sector in
No, sir.
our society. So I hope I hope you will help us, with our concern, communication, access to
Yes,
communication.
sir.
So thank you.
I'll take note of that. I'll take note of that, June, and I'll make sure that our people in Cebu, sila Jimmy Chua, will give you a call also. Pero
I, I know, I
may
know
joke
Jimmy
lang,
and
may
Jim.
yeah.
I
May
know
joke
them.
lang, may joke lang ako diyan na yes, mabilis kami mag-bill pero iba yung nakaka-collect.
Nakakolect tayo. Because if we do not pay you, we are automatically cut off. So we are forced to go.
No, wala sir, we have not cut off since the start of ECQ eh. So
Oh,
we have a
what I'm
very
saying is that what I'm saying is we always have that in our mind that if we will not pay on time, we might encounter some problem with our communication. It's very important to us.
and understand, sir. Understand. I'll have the team call you up, sir, so we can see how we can further help you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mitch. And I would
Thank
say
you.
that more power to you because you're very vital. No? It's a very vital industry. I would say thank you.
Thank you, po.
Okay. Do we have more questions?
I think I think this is we have more questions definitely, but we don't have time anymore. We'll have to another coffee table. But we thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Sir Mitch. Again, as mentioned by BP Jun, you're very vital. So please take care of yourself. PLDT has done tremendous, help and support to our industry. Like in the
And to CBM.
So reliable yung kayo.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, we also appreciate your openness, Sir Mitch. I know that these questions are difficult to answer sometimes.
Very hard.
In an open forum, we are very thankful.
Alam mo, can I butt in, Mitch?
Yes.
Can I butt in, Mitch? I would dare to say that your sector is very, very lucky to be at this time, no? Very vital, and people really badly need communication. And probably you can double your contribution to CBM.
Nice one.
Just a thought.
Thank you, TP June. I think PLDT has been our number one supporter sa CBM. No?
I know that.
Yes.
PLDT is always number one. Truly appreciate.
Listen, pag all other sponsors are backing out,
Withdrawn.
PLDT has been really proactive, and even volunteered. Hey, can we still do CBM? Let's do it.
Mitch, I even remember Manny Pangilinan was our guest in one of our CBM. And we were so honored to have him around. This guy, Manny Pangilinan, is really, number one in my list. Truly admire him.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So I think that's it let's wrap it up. So again, as mentioned, we in our industry, there's a lot of challenges that we encountered, but the future is brighter.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of opportunities as well. Nabay nang utanan ako, is it good time to invest daw in BPO? It is.
Buy stocks in telco.
Yeah. So do you guys have like your last one? What you want to say? Then we can. I think I'm good. You're good.
I'm good.
Mike says, I agree.
We agree. That's what we agreed. Well, actually, again, I'd like to say this has been a very engaging afternoon, and this is actually a trial mic, no? This is an experiment project, a coffee table discussion. I guess a lot of people were surprised, a little apprehensive. With like, okay, what's gonna be the flow? Are there gonna be guide questions? Will we be talking? And I've actually received a few calls coming from PLDT, like to ask for specific questions, and I said no. This is going to be free flowing. We will talk about opportunities, our challenges and opportunities. This is just going to be like a normal, like friends coming together over a cup or cups of coffee, discussing about anything and everything under the sun. So
No holds barred.
yeah, no holds barred. I think we have gone beyond 30 minutes
Yeah.
from our targeted already. We have already put like a 30-minute allowance, but we've exceeded another 30. So I guess it's safe to say
Yeah.
this is
This is
this has been good.
So, Sir
Good
Jun, do you
afternoon.
have go ahead, Sir Jun, do you have your one before we end our talk?
Maybe just a closing message.
Can we still call you if we have concerns?
Midnight.
Can we still bother you at night?
Well, his girlfriend.
Well, I'm just a text away, but it depends on how difficult or easy the question is. But anyways, definitely this COVID thing is causing a lot of crisis or challenges for the industry. But always bear in mind that behind all these challenges, there are a lot of opportunities just hiding around the bend. So let's look for it.
Right. Thank you. Sige, I expect my call. All right, Sir Mitch. Do you have anything na before we
I just like to say thank you. Thank you again for inviting me. Daghang kayong salamat unya pag-amping mo tanan, and I look forward to supporting again CBM next year as well. So thank you so much.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hello, good afternoon, panelists. Can we have a photo op, please?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to invite everyone to open their camera, face the camera with your perfect smile, and then
Perfect smile.
let's wave everybody.
Ay, magtangtang siguro to sa mask. Uy?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
And then wave the ma'am, wave the sa camera, please. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, daghang salamat.
Daghang salamat.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, bye. Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you.
Thank you, panelists and everybody. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, one more.
Once more. Yesterday, once more.
Wait.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
O, kape na sad.